I like the polo underneath another t-shirt. It's good. No, it's good. I mean, I've layered.
Before you head into the
No, my first time is far north. It's central.
Do you think
it's my 12th day in Rotterdam. I guess.
Has finished my
Until they kick me out. Thank you. This is a nice 12th day event to go to. Not 13. Then it's unlucky. The crowd I would expect.
That they get bad
The crowd I kind of would expect. Everyone's young and artsy.
so much. For some reason,
I'm so sorry.
He told me.
Okay, so you're gonna reframe my priorities, my life.
What should I expect? That's perfect.
This is my favorite version of that.
Like this year.
Like such a secret.
I think I don't know. Like if we don't.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I think it's nice to have like listeners and stuff.
That's a great question. Let me try to pronounce my street codes and see for how many times I'm wrong. Okay.
Elliot, you're going to be hidden in this one.
Say something.
Okay, if I just...
Yeah, please.
It's, I meant like, what's it called? The Lions?
I think it stays.
Thank you so much. Because you're the most mobile one.
Not a memory of you as doing a
Boris? I feel like everyone has shamanic one. Shaman elements. He does tantric.
Amsterdam, I just
It's dangerous to get close to him, I think.
do that for long.
But I don't think it's a risk. What's the closest you've ever gotten?
I went for so long.
Michelle had it in her heart and soul. Was it serious?
Looks like there's nobody there.
Alternative education. Waldorf? Waldorf Steiner. Who's the guy?
No, I never.
Because we can't pronounce many words.
Where are you from?
New York.
I'm not sure it's exactly. What? I didn't find something good about
OG.
At some point. You do that.
So maybe I put on.
That's a nice old, very old thing. It's been like, that's what I like.
It's
It's almost something sexual.
I just moved to Atlanta 5 months ago, so I finally can. Yeah, it's I can settle in a bit and it's easier. I have to rethink things really to
Then I go to work together.
it's just
So I do that.
About this connection between
That's a good point.
if you see that, then you understand
Cleaning the boat right now. For a house. While looking for work. Storytelling.
I have to think of it. So it's not just like I introduce culture and I just get like this is the slideshow. At least they have to forward design.
I don't know many people. That's my style.
So I do the these kind of stuff. So or web culture designs for the web. Pure coding.
maybe just
Seriously? Floor? Or the remake of your other plays, like no fun.
It's not bad.
That's very nice.
What's it called? Yeah, they see it posted everywhere. It's like, whoa, oh my god.
That's nice. That's a nice way to see the websites
You're not squatting. I don't know anyone.
Thanks for the success with the front book. It was impressive. Like, I've seen so many things around.
The month before I came, I researched as much of Rotterdam as I could socially. I made a big graph. I'll show you the graph. You want to see the graph? Yeah. Thank you.
Emma, the cat, Jennifer.
And then it's what your name?
Yeah.
Here's
I just told them a story. My last day on vacation. There was this guy who was like, dressed up like my hometown.
Because everyone I know could not in my area. There's a dog, but not for dogs.
4 in the morning was nice. So I wanted to
So that's what I figured out about this. I follow what you're feeling because I'm a food gamer and I can focus. And I experience I can as well, but never in a first year because I'm like what's the most? How many people have you served? Maximum. What's the carrying capacity for any food that you
It's just going to be
you have catered? Everyone's walking.
yeah, this is
I'm so flattered. No, it's really fun to get a compliment.
Do you want me to hang it up?
What a
Serene? Cool. No, but what was it? Here's the...
You are
Here's the... You know Jack? I didn't get that one. And then there was one other thing. I want to put everything. So, did everyone sponsor this? Are they just hanging out? Do they know this is happening? They do? In a way, they put it. What? Great. Let's see. Okay.
I feel a bit that's what they do this time
I'm gonna go home welcome to the pool. Give us all your money.
As I understand these as a part technically, it should be silver because silver it's always like, am I carrying my leather to my belt? Because the people that advise me are not going to say what they are belt. If you're doing a jacket and two are brown and one is black, what are you going to do? Where do we follow? Eventually, I have to get my collection over here. My materials are new. You can give it away. You don't know. And eventually, I'll bring it back. I drill the back, and then I figure it out. I was going to say thank you in Russian, but I was like, I bet it's not for next yeah, 12 shovel and all stuff. Living on a boat. So it's a very tight. It's a board. It's gonna get back to negative next week. And we're surrounded by ice water. Like we're just like literally below the water line. So it's fine. I have to hold firewood on and get the fireplace going. I feel like the pilgrim a little bit. When's the last time we did something?
That's loud. Nice. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pool. This is the launch of the Are.na annual, and I've been told that I should tell you that the toilet is just through there. I was going to try and make that like pool themed, but I don't know. It's just the toilet in the pool as well. So that's the toilet over there. Changing rooms. No. I'm Jack. Most of you know me. I'm one of the 6 members of Extra Practice. We are in the Extra Practice space where we have our studio, and we have been working for a while on a project around income pooling, or kind of how we can, we set up this space a long time ago, and we've been finding different ways to support each other in creative practice and with resources and lots of different things. But now, more recently, we've kind of looked into how we can expand those support structures to also financial support and other things to do with work, which is this big flowchart behind you that we've been working on. Which is about how you take on work. We also have some posters for sale just around the corner where Benjamin is. That's Benjamin. So you can take home a version of this flowchart, expertly writer printed by Nick. And you need the mic. Try it now. Okay, try it now. Okay, try it now.
By Nick and Hannah.
And Hannah. No, she doesn't want to take any responsibility.
I did the delivery.
Nice. Delivered by Hannah. So yeah, this is one of the kind of on our journey to. We'll go into a bit more detail on it later, but this idea of income pooling as a way to level out our financial up and downs and hopefully create a more meaningful working environment for all of us. This is one of the tools that we've created, and we've kind of been working on this project for a while and been discussing it a lot in the studio. And one of the other outcomes was an article that was written collectively but predominantly by Kirsten and Gijs, which is in the latest Are.na annual. This is where everything converges. So let me do my checklist. Are.na, yeah. Okay, Are.na. For those of you who don't know, Are.na is a online platform. Here, it doesn't usually wobble around like this, but that's because we're in the water. It's a platform where you can gather resources and links, and most of us, I think all of us use it, right? And I use it, and this isn't a promo for Are.na, but it's good. And use it for projects and sharing images and all sorts of text and everything, but I don't need to go into it. And they also have this annual that they do every year, annually. And there is a copy here, so there's going to be bidding later. So the highest bidder gets can get this copy. No, we wanted to try out a sort of special type of book launch where there isn't actually a book. But you can. There are 50, how many copies will we have? 15. So you can't all have one.
2 of them have already gone. There's 13 left.
13 left.
We'll do live scores of how many are left throughout the evening.
Yeah, but delivery will be next week, so you can buy it now, put your name down, and then we can find a way of getting it to you, or you can visit Extra Practice anytime to pick it up. So this evening, We're going to have this intro from me, which is happening right now, and then we're going to have some readings from the book. Gijs is going to do some readings,
And Kirsten.
and maybe me if I get excited, of our article, but also some other pieces that are in the annual. Then we've got an interview from, do I call you Sofa Talks? Yeah. And they've prepared some questions for us around through the lens of the article, but also about this collectivity and solidarity and how support structures for freelancers. And maybe some more readings after. And then we've got a food experience from Eat Your Feelings, Alina. You can hear her giggling, but you're not allowed to see her until later. Yeah. Then we have you'll see later, and it's a food experience that's to do with money and also pool themed. And I think is that everything? Did I miss anything? Fire exits. There's a bar. Please buy booze and the posters and support us. You know, you feel like paying €10 for a beer, go for it.
Yeah, really nice to see you all here at this first event of the year.
Indeed, it's great. So now I'll hand it over to you for some readings.
Can you hand over the one and only copy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Story time. So what we'll do, because we're here as representatives of only one of the contributors of this annual, I don't know how many are in total, maybe like 20 or something. So we'll start with a little excerpt from the interaction written by Meg, Miller and Muriel. I think we'll have to do a bit of, one is the mic stand, the other one reads, okay? So shall I read this one?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we need
Yeah, there's a little bit more space at the front. So, an excerpt of the editor's letter by Mick Miller and Muriel Freeman. And it wasn't just pools for swimming. We were starting to see pools in everything. A potluck was a kind of pool, as was picking up our friends and sailing through the HOV lane. Basically any sort of assemblage of people, of data, of resources, all pools. In retrospect, it was the contributors who contaminated our minds. We had started, as we always do, with a call for submissions in spring. This year, the theme for the annual is pool, as in a quiet place in a stream, a gathering of people, resources, liquid or light, or to contribute to a common effort. A game of billiards, a place for swimming. This definition, we thought, was expansive enough to solicit some interesting responses, yet also contained. But when the submissions started rolling in, a record-breaking year, the possibilities rippled outwards. Fatima Al-Kouari, a geneticist turned graphic designer, wanted to write about the gene pool and what happened when humans tried to hack it, through the stories of two sacrificial lambs. Her family penned gold and Dolly the sheep. Keaton Armentrout, who studied neuroscience, wrote with a pitch about averted vision, the phenomenon when neurons pool in the side of your eyes, making it easier to see bright things at night if you look slightly away. You'll find both of these pieces in the book alongside essays on vernal pools and hypersaline pools, car pools and typing pools. We found that talking about pools often brought up themes of inclusivity and exclusivity, the ecological and the technological, and the leaky edges between these categories. Of course, there are also pieces about swimming pools. That's from the introduction. So now we're diving deeper into 91 pages in. Yeah. Which happens to be where our piece starts. Kirsten will start.
Pools for conviviality. You didn't exactly plan to end up here in your 30s, half submerged in something bigger than yourself, but you always knew that you didn't want to swim alone. Touch tile. You lean on the yellow beaded line lanes, elbows resting as you catch your breath. A good few laps. You see others hitting a couple more. You're doing this together, right? You try to blink the chlorine out of your eyes. Are you ready for the next lap? On the far side of the pool, some peers climb out and gather their towels. A question bubbles up in your head. Is this the life you wanted? How to grow old? It wasn't always like this. You remember departing from the safe shores of art school into open water. With a master's degree and a half-written grant proposal under your arm, you were determined to be an independent artist, designer, researcher, or whatever title fits the funding form best. You weren't looking to find dry land in the form of stable employment, but were hoping to stay afloat between grants and freelance commissions, being your best autonomous, critical thinking self, a special fish, like your studies had taught you. The open water was cold and the waves were wild. There were some boys and institutional peers to keep starting artists afloat, but they were leaking and rotting. You looked around and saw others braving the water beside you, struggling at times. Someone pumped up a float, someone else suggested building a raft. And there was something else from those years of school that you started to miss: company. Not the corporate kind, but that of peers. Sitting beside others while you worked, body doubling your way through deadlines, discussing process and existential dread over cheap coffee, offering feedback when needed, but mostly just being near. Eventually, a group of you decided to start carving out something a little bit more stable, a container to swim in, and trained for the open water together, free of currents trying to pull you under, a pool. A pool as a collective support structure for freelance cultural practitioners while the old structures are crumbling. A safe zone where you catch your breath and help each other refine their strokes. A place for play and conviviality.
So in the rest of the piece, we dive into different levels of commitment. Commitment of conviviality, commitment of collectivity, and they all have different pools. They take shape as different pools or bodies of water. The first one is sharing a space, but we skip that, you can read it later, and the second one is sharing a name. Level 2, share a name. After some deliberation, you revive a dormant name, already owned by a few of you. It comes preloaded: domain, email, Instagram handle, chamber registration. At first, not everyone feels entirely comfortable slipping into a name they didn't help invent. You agree that it's perfect for what you want to be. A pool for working and learning together, where occasional swimming lessons are provided when you need some extra practice. The name goes on the window, each of your names underneath. More passers-by stop to ask what goes on in there. Many things. Your space is evolving into a kind of subtropical attraction with slides, wave machines, maybe even a hot tub. Instead of plastic palms, there's a small garden with sunflowers in summer. A cozy corner for naps stands in for a sauna. An additional storage unit transforms into a bar/DJ booth during events. Gradually, a visual style surfaces. The website takes on elements from the space. Its footer echoes the green skirting board. The background matches the touch of sesame floor paint. Everything is colorful, handmade, a bit wet around the edges. It draws in kindred spirits across ponds and oceans. Even a self-proclaimed intern joins the pool, buoyant with energy. One of you launches a series of... Oh wait, that was where I was gonna stop. Spoilers.
And you might be wondering, where are the green skirting boards? Where's the touch of sesame? But this was our old space, across the river.
So we go on to the next level, which is show work, and some of it is basically a telling of the story of extra practice, but some of it is telling the story that you don't see, which is more the struggle and the doubts behind. You want to read this one? Oh wait, we also have to check how we are with time, because we have to...
Maybe
You're tied with 7, right? Yes. So what we do is a little impromptu Q&A before we continue with more readings. So now you're primed. So you want to join us on stage? Collega and Aline, right? From Sofa Talks. Sofa Talks?
yes.
Great. You can ask the question to anyone of XP, or anyone of XP will answer.
Thanks for the readings. I think it gives a nice insight into our questions as well. And just to to introduce us very briefly, we graduated last summer from Master in KVK, and now we are at the beginning of the waters. So we are thrown in the big waters that we're trying to create our own small pool. So we thought it would be nice to ask you some questions that also help us in, diving in. And we will refer to your article as well to form the questions. So the first one goes, you remember departing from the safe shores of art school into open water, our situation now. Someone pumped up a float, someone else suggested building a raft. And now this vision rings both exciting and a little naive. So I want to ask you, what was naive about it? And what would you have done differently with the experience that you have now?
Yeah, so this is about this first moment when you exit art school. I'm looking at the person who wrote those lines, if you are thinking of something specific, otherwise I can free imagine.
Yeah, I'm thinking now, like, what was so naive about it, and what would we do differently? I think it was just like starting somewhere and then just going with it and learning as we go is naively how we started doing it. But I cannot imagine really another way to go about it. So I don't regret naivety.
Yeah, it's also part of it is I think also that we weren't really taught how to do any form of collectivity after graduating. So necessarily naive.
Yeah, and you want to contribute? Yeah, maybe for a bit more context why we're here as well is that we are trying to form a group, not necessarily a collective where we work together on projects, but a space to discuss challenges and relevant questions that we are facing after the support of the institution is gone. So first of all, to create, we call it sofa talks because we want to discuss these things in a relaxed, soft environment. And we are still shaping it, and we are at the beginning of it. We had one sofa talk on Aline's sofa in The Hague, where we are based, but the next one we will have in Utrecht, in Fotodoc, on the 31st of January. And on that one we've also unpacked what does it mean to be a collective, and what kind of forms can it have, and to just figure it out together as we go with the people who want to be part of it. Yeah. Can you contribute something? Yeah. And also, we were also talking about it before, like when we came in, that there's like this lack of order, like you call it, from graduating from an institution and then to jump into the next stage, and like how to create like something where you can land in before. And you were also writing in your article, so the question shifts: how do you stay afloat together as you mature, as life expands, as people peel off toward other shores? And I was wondering, like, how you, when you started this, what you're doing together, if there were like kind of different roles that you had in this collective, and like how you started to create like this pool all together. Did you have like different kind of skills that you brought in, or how you deal with also your individual practices and then shaping it into like a collective kind of sense? Maybe you guys can just tell a bit about that.
Yeah, it started quite lightweight, so I think I wasn't so aware of roles at the start, because the collaboration was quite minimal. We rented the space together. Emma played a role finding the space and making people enthusiastic, for sure. But then, there were roles in cleaning, there were roles in what else? Maybe that was it. But I feel like as we grew or started to do more things and got ideas of doing things, organizing things together, like the move to this bigger space, the opening last year, events, now sometimes also projects on extra practice itself, suddenly we had to collaborate. And that's when roles came up. And at the start I wasn't really thinking, who are we, what kind of team do we make? Do we have complementary skills? Just happened to be perfect. But actually, that also meant that when we started to collaborate, we need to figure out how to even deal with that. And maybe many of us are used to be the creative person in the team, and that's the idea of like many captains on a ship, to stay in the naval metaphors. And then it required also seeing what are people more interested in, what are they good at, dividing responsibilities, accepting that sometimes there's not a hierarchy that's fixed, but at least someone is leading.
Yeah, but I guess it's also like because like working together is probably also a very like relational practice, and then like how did you deal with like clashes that you maybe had coming from your individual kind of situations in your practices, and how to like navigate through different ideas, and like, but I guess you were also like friends when you started, so there was also kind of setting of having a relationship together. Yeah, how to define this question? But do you think like to work with people together there needs to be already like this kind of friendship relation, or like how would you navigate through that? If that's
I can take a good question.
I think we were definitely friends, most of us. Not everyone was as close, but I think this goes for a friend group, or maybe a less closer group that was starting together. We, from the very start, we had these meetings, like monthly meetings, that we took really seriously, and where we also made a point of blending personal stuff and work stuff, because even though we were only working together in this space, but we still always start this meeting with like a personal, I mean, I know this is kind of an open door, but yeah, personal check-in and how's everybody doing, and kind of taking that super seriously. And I think through those meetings, if I think back to the earlier ones and to the few conflicts that we had, because we never really had a big conflict or problem, I think. But we always kind of just worked through everything as though it was fixed or solved. And I think in that also the difference, so not only the different roles and skills creatively that people have, but also the different social skills that people have came together really beautifully, because we have like a very good mediator in our midst, and then we have like a very calm person who's really great at listening and feeling everybody's emotions before they even know them themselves. And there's people just say it like it is, and I think, yeah, it's just kind of like an organism that's alchemizing, and yeah. I don't know if this is an answer, but
thank you. And again, from the article, you wrote that you wanted to create a pool for working and learning together, where occasional swimming lessons are provided when you need some extra practice. So this is also what we want to do with Sofa Talks, to create, as you say, school away from school, and to create space where you can continue learning, because the learning shouldn't stop after school. So I'm wondering, what kind of swimming lessons did you take? Can you tell us a bit more about these like exercises, or these kind of education-related activities in this new format?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because their swimming also relates to surviving in the ocean of freelancing. Because at the start, I think I didn't focus that much on it. Maybe not smart, but we tried some events where we were like presenting projects to each other. So that's more like literally school, after school. But maybe more recently, like last year or so, we've been looking at money and the pool and this work, and that feels more like the swimming lessons that I wish I had in school. Simple things like how to do entrepreneurship, but also that through collectivity you can help each other through more difficult periods by pooling resources, pooling income, renting a space, but also all these businesses, acquisition, networks, publishing. The fact that Extra Practice as a name is not me makes it easier for me to publish through the newsletter, for instance. So it becomes this stage that you make for yourself.
Yeah, I think we also relate to that, because we start now with the two of us, and maybe in the future if there's more of us, but to feel more daring to approach people, to approach institutions, to ask for things, to ask for help, to just do things together. It can be much more intimidating when you're on your own. This is also a big reason behind Sofa Talks, and to reduce this competition that we all feel, and increase collaboration instead. And sometimes there's power in anonymity, that you're a group and you do it together. So yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah. You want to read this one? Maybe as a last roundup question, that will lead to our Sofa Talks research question is, you wrote that it remains difficult to balance doing your own laps with working on the collective choreography. So we are also thinking, how can we sustain our individual practices with the help of a group? And maybe you have some tips and tricks on that.
Start an income pool. I don't know, we're gonna figure that out, but it's hard because that quote actually is also about if you want to do collective work. So there's this weird loop that it seems like the more you can do collectively to support each other, the easier it becomes. But if you're not there yet, then you can't create that support structure. How to deal with it? Start small. Well, one thing was the labor condition talks. You want to say something about it?
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, so we sometimes have these, or we started like really formally having some talks about labor, but also just in, you mean the talks about I remember, for instance, one conversation where I felt completely stressed out, and we just went over writing an email to a client just to like give myself some breathing space, which I couldn't get to do myself in a way. Is that also the one you're referring to? Where there is really like that through going setting boundaries for yourself within your own practice, doing that with the others helps you do that yourself, but it also makes the others aware. Like we're kind of similar to like what we did with this flowchart, creating a kind of like formula or workflow to also create then the space to do work that is more free, that you're self-initiating. Don't know what else to add to that.
I think that in art school you always have the tutor-student relation, so it's something you need to unlearn afterwards, where a client isn't your tutor, so if they want something you can actually say no, I can't do that. And then this flowchart collects all these lessons we had around that, where before you say yes to something you can actually check, do I have the energy? Does it help me get closer to my goals, long-term goals and dreams? Does it pay me enough? All those things.
I think also the fact that you are, because it's often that all these questions are kind of, you're avoiding them in your head. There's like this cloud of stress that can be there, and by actually going about it with someone else next to you, you have to actually write them or like go through them, state them actually, and there you realize, oh, this is actually not even possible to do. So I need to state my needs here.
Things like with this tool, you don't need friends anymore. So it's fine. But no,
get it for how many?
Yeah.
Donation.
But I don't know. You said about like maybe a more practical, like how would you do it? And I think we also started with we started with the space and then kind of stumbled into this frolicked our way into these structures. But I think I don't think the space. That's quite a high threshold to like find people and put a space together. But what you're doing already is talking with people, and I think our monthly meetings, as already mentioned, I think you could start with that as a thing, like a group of you that are meeting once a month and talking through issues and what you're working on and how people are doing and all those things as like a. I think that makes more sense if we were to look at it in retrospect, as like a starting point and the beginning of a support structure, and that kind of also links back to the learning question, where these things aren't like school. It's not formal learning. It's not like sitting in a lecture or this. It's just people doing shit around you and you being open enough to like look at what they're doing and observe things and learning from people acting every day, rather than like these things. So then, but you have to create a space for that, and that metaphorical space, not physical. Whether that's through a meeting or something.
Or pool.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for having us. I think, we took a lot out of that. And there was a little advertising for Sophie Talks as well. So we don't have like an Instagram yet or anything, but you can get in touch with us, with me, Gundaga, and Aline Pappenheim. I think we will manage a way to make ourselves seen. And like I said before, we just meet sometimes, and it's not a set amount of people always, but like new people can join when there's a topic that's interesting for you. So it's always going to be theme-based, like very practical about the finances, but also more existential, vulnerable, just sharing things about your challenges. And we are working on it, and we will adapt and learn and grow. And thank you for having us, and congratulations on your books. I hope they arrive soon.
Thank you.
All right. So we're gonna have 2 more readings? No, then break? Is that okay, break? Because okay, we're gonna have a break, and you can get drinks there and other things at the door.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Sorry. Are.na printed it. They made their Are.na kind of like yearbook kind of.
Here's some money so you can eat. Just hold
You got loads. I got shit. Oh no, different. Do you want some? Because I'm not really hungry.
Yeah.
No, but I think the concept was I'm being silly.
You're being silly.
I'm being silly.
So
how much money did you get? I got 1,000. I got 2,000. That's sometimes, you know.
I got 1,000. But I want to buy. Oh, I only got 2,000. Way more. You're keeping.
It's sad. I'm poor in real life and I'm poor in pretend games as well. Like, why do me like that? At least make me
also some menus, so you maybe team up and get an idea of what's the golden rule, what you need to get, and then you figure it out with the money. Once you're done with the money, I'm here for you with the food.
Was it clear?
Yeah, it's not fair. Do you want to give it to the back?
I think you're asking.
Okay, so I guess it's the opposite of pooling. It's the other way. If I roll. Beautiful.
Is there anyone who doesn't have money?
Like the poor people. What the heck? Right up
That looks good. I saw that. We're buying food.
I can get whatever I want.
You're maxed out, so you need to work it.
I feel sour. Oh my god. I'm not here right now. I can see why you're yes, you are. I want to name my child a
I don't want to say we're talking about getting that's all that
So you can come by.
when I walk by, that's all I heard.
But it's also nice to think of the both of money for you.
Maybe the car sense is the
Elliot, the master is here. I'm back.
I'm gonna ask some questions.
It's the winter. My body is out of control.
Okay. What is your current stock?
How much money do you have? How much carrots do you have?
And burning on the high. You know, like every year
I have
I think so. How much do you have?
I feel like I got 6
I love the current story. It's a beautiful design. You have 4,000. 4,000. How do you have so much? Do you want to share? I can go with you. Yes. And we'll split everything. It's not all correct. I don't know how to do it. I wonder how they infuse, if it's like a soap or a I think of raisins are soaking, not a grape, you know?
No, whatever.
Okay, shall we get in line? I think this is what we have access to. So some of us have different parts of our menu filled out. Like, I need to get to this, I need to go on. So together we can get the whole thing. As I understand. I think that's just, like we got it together. This is just cool terminology. Okay, I'm heading in this direction. Keep it up.
Maybe at the end of this one.
Maybe it's our people working on it.
I'm really happy to
Maybe we should just all say, what if we all forgot everything together?
And then we just go.
And then we go back and get everything over this.
Wow. Now you
I thought you were another now I
So sweet that day.
I realized this is good. Life-changing.
Why? The line stays so when you're coming along, it was not making a decision or what?
Yeah.
So, do you want my money too?